Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a little happy paint tube. I think it's super adorable. It's so tiny. Doesn't take a whole lot of bands, I don't think, so you can kind of be easier to make a bunch of them into the different colors that you want. Band wise, for this one I used 108 green, 54 gray for kind of the ends of the tube, and then 14 white. And then of course the face. For this one I used the 7mm pony beads. I know that I'm kind of doing some of the school supply stuff right now, but I know that back when I made my Happy Toothpaste, there were some people who were like, oh, that'd be such a cute little paint tube, and I'm thinking, oh, that it would be, but it'd be so band heavy that I don't think there'd be many people who would actually go through the whole effort and use all the bands to make a bunch of big paint tubes like this. So making a smaller one, I think, just kind of made sense to go along with things. So we'll show you how to make this cutie. And then of course paint tubes, there might be some other things that go along with it coming up as well. So we'll get started. We don't really have a whole lot of prep work besides the face. We have the eyes. Like I said, I'm going to use the 7mm pony beads. And if you don't have a bead, you can use a band. But for these smaller beads like this one, you'll have to have something to thread through to get the bands in there, because otherwise it's just too tight to push them through. This is just a piece of craft wire folded in half. You can use string thread or floss, anything you can kind of push through the center of your bead. But you'll take two bands that are going to be the color of your center of your paint tube. Put them in the center of your V, close it up, and then thread them through the center of your bead and pull it down. Like that. And then you'd want two of these. If you're going to do them like that. If you don't have the beads, you can use a band, whatever color you want the eye to be, on the hook, wrap it around into the figure 8, grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through two bands the color of your paint tube. Like that. So you want two eyes, either way you're going to make them. And then you want cheeks. They're made the same way as the eyes. It's just one band, whatever color you want the cheek to be, on the hook, wrapped around once, then you grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through two bands that are the color of your paint tube. So two cheeks. So you want those made ahead of time, or pause the video when you get there, either way. And then we'll have our loom. We'll have the wrong end towards us. And we'll start with the cap here. And this is going to be a 2-pin design to begin with, and then we don't go any bigger than like 12 pins. So I'm going to take two bands and just kind of anywhere, because we only go on 6, two bands, bring them to the center from one side, and then on the other side go like that. Just make a little arrow for right now. Then I'll take two bands for a cap band on the center pin, wrapped around 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Then you go in through your cap band, grab the top two bands, pull them up through and back towards themselves on both sides, like that. Then you can take your cap band and pull it off of the pin, so it's in the center like that. And now we're going to technically do rows on this one, so it gets a little tight. So here's what I do: is I take my two bands and I'm going to put them on one pin, come around this pin, and then bring it back to the other side. Then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So it looks like that. Then I'll go and I'll flip the bottom 4 bands on each side. Push that down. And then we're going to do that again around the outside. And flip the bottom 4 bands again. And now, taking your hook, you're going to go in and grab that center cap band, and it's probably best if you take your hook and go like underneath of it like this, and then flip off the bands that are on the pins around it. And then once you take your hook out, it should kind of be nice and flat on the top, and the sides up. So once you have that, then what we're going to do is expand. So I'm going to take the top 2 bands from each pin and just bring them up a pin. So now we are on 4 pins like that. Just take the top 2 bands and bring them up. Now what we want to do is our next color here. So you want that. And we're going to puff all of these out. So it's 2 bands. I'm going to stick my hook through the 2 bands that are on the pin, grab those bands, pull them up through, put both ends back on my hook, and then if the bands haven't fallen off, you take them off this pin, and then what's on your hook goes onto that pin. And you do that all the way around. So through the bands, pull up 2 bands, both ends on your hook, pull the bands off the pin, and then the ones that are on your hook go back onto the pin. Like that. So now they're all puffed. Push them down. We'll do a row all the way around. 2 bands. If you hear that ruckus, that's Kitty playing. So like that. And then you'll flip the bottom 4 bands all the way around. She found one of my cords, it sounds like. Kitty. She's one playful cat. So like that. Now what we're going to do is expand. So up here on the top right pin, I'm going to grab the top 2 bands and pull them over towards the center. So there's no crossing of the bands right here. And then down here on the lower left, I have to pick up all 4 bands, bring them to the center, and then grab the top 2 bands and bring them back to the pin that they were on. Like that. So now we're on 6 pins. So we're going to do a row all the way around. 2 bands. Like that. Then we'll flip our bands. Some of the pins, 2 of them, will have 4 bands to flip, and others will have 2 bands, just so that there are 4 bands left on every pin. And I'm going to push those down. Now we're going to transition into our tube color. And we're going to do that by puffing all of the 6 pins with our bands, again like we did for the top here, or for the transition right here. So through the bands, pull up 2 that are the tube color, both ends on the hook, take the bands off the pin, and then put the ones on your hook back onto the pin. I'm going to do that all the way around again. For these ones in the center, I think it's easier if you drop them on the pin and then go over through the bands, hook them, pull them up through, and then put your hook back through, then take them off and replace it. It's easy when they're on the side because you can just grab them and pull them up, but it's hard to get your fingers into the center pins. Like that. Like that. Now we're going to do 3 rows all the way around. It's much easier to film when kitty cat is sleeping by my feet or something. So like that, then you flip the bottom 4. Otherwise I keep looking around my shoulder to see what she's playing with. Make sure it's not anything she shouldn't be. Or whenever she's going to chew up my computer cords or something. That'd be bad. So that's 1 row. Do another row. Like that. Flip your bottom 4. Push down. And a 3rd row. Like that. Flip your bottom 4. Push down. Next is going to be our eye row, so you want your eyes. I'm going to start by putting an eye. Ooh. Almost pulled the band out. Putting an eye on this pin right here, or spot, and then the next eye goes over. Then 2 bands around the rest. And flip your bottom 4. Push down. Next is our cheek row. So you want your cheeks, and those go on right where we put the eyes. So 1 there, and 1 over here, and 2 bands around the rest. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. Push down. Then you'll want your mouth band. It's going to be 1 band. Put on your hook. Wrap it around once. And then you'll take it off and hold it so that it's doubled like that. And then take your hook, go in through those 4 bands right there in between the eyes and the cheeks, hook your mouth band, pull it up through over the top of the pin, then you'll pull it down, pull it down so it's wrapped around the pin, and then pull it up over the top like that. Then we're going to do 4 rows all the way around with 2 bands. So this will be our first row. And flip the bottom 4. That's 1. Second row. That. Push down. Now the third row. Like that. Flip your bottom 4. Push down. And 1 more row. Just making sure. The kitty's making me nervous. I'm waiting for her to yank my power cord that's attached to my camera and knock my camera down. That would be bad. So this is our 4th row. Flip the bottom 4. Push down. Now we're going to transition back to the other color, or the gray color for me. And we're going to puff all of the pins. So same like we did before. Hook through the bands, pull up a couple bands, both ends on the hook, and then bands off the pin. And then the ones that are on your hook go back on to the pin. Like so. Push those down, and then we'll do 1 row all the way around. like that, and then flip your bottom 4. And push your bands down. So now we're ready to close, and we're going to do this kind of differently. We're not going to like just go around and pick up the 6 pins because we want it to be kind of flat on the bottom. So to do this, we're going to braid it closed, and I kind of think about it like these 2 are connected, the 2 centers are connected, and then these 2. So what I'm going to do is stick my hook in through the bands over here, pull them off the pin. I'll go over to the left bands, pulling those off so they're both on my hook, and I'll pull the left through the right carefully like that. Then I'll come back to the right side. Make sure you kind of push this back so it stays out of the way. Come back over to the right, and you can turn your loom if it's easier too. But get those bands off, and those 4 we just took off, you need to go through the 4 that were on your hook before. Let me come back over to the left, do the same thing, pick up the bands, pull them through, then go back to the right, pick up those, pull them through, and then I should still have 4 left, or one pin, 4 bands. So go over, grab those, get them on my hook. And for these last ones, I don't pull them all the way through. You can if you want to. But I take 2 bands, pull them through all 8 bands that are on my hook, both ends on, make a slip knot. And I'm not going to pull it too tight yet because we're going to have to do some adjusting. So once you have it here, it's almost ready. For the top portion, generally it just takes a squishing down of the kind of cap area. You may have to go in and loosen up these bands right here. Just give them a little tug down towards the paint tube. So do that all the way around, and then you might also have to go and loosen up in the paint tube. We're just kind of bringing them together because of the stretching we did when we puffed it out. So I pull up on these bands right here, so they'll meet together in the center better. So that's the top portion. This should be alright. I didn't have any issues when I did them before. But we kind of want to make sure the top stays kind of circly. One spot's bugging me right here. There we go. Like so. And then on the other end, it's the same thing, bringing these together. You'll be pulling on some bands from the paint tube to come down towards the crimp of the tube. And then we'll do the same thing for this. On the end here, we need to loosen up our braiding. So first you'll kind of, there isn't much of it, so it's kind of hard to see the pattern, but there's bands that go this way, then this way, this way. And if you pull on those to loosen them up, that will help make the bottom of the crimp better. I'll tuck in my tail band now. When I do it, I want to tuck it into this little like hole right here. So I'll stick my hook up through, come up through that whole area and then pull my tail down in there. And I want to pull until the knot is almost disappeared, but not quite. And then hide this some more. And then once you have the braid kind of pulled out, again, go into the crimp of the tube, pull those bands towards the paint part. It's like if I can make rubber bands not stretchy, they wouldn't be rubber bands. But then we also wouldn't have to go back and fix some things at times. Just do that till it gets flat. And you have a nice kind of connection right here. Fix the face. Squish. There we go. I'm happy with that. So, little happy paint tubes. I hope that you like this one better with being smaller, so you don't have to kind of work as much to make some of the paint tubes. And I think it'd be totally cute to have the little rainbow color on them in the picture. But I hope that you enjoyed this and it was easy to make. The end was closing a little bit differently, but it's nothing we haven't done before if you've done a lot of the happy foods and happy things. So if you make some, or if you do something creative with it, I definitely want to see it on my Instagram, which is at Crafting Fantastic. Don't forget to tag me in the photos. I'm always checking to see if I have stuff on there, but I know that I'm still missing things, and I apologize for those of you who tag me. Sometimes it's just that I happen to be sleeping, it's my nighttime, things like that. So hopefully I'm seeing as many of them as I can, and you guys are still good with all of the checking of the Instagram and stuff. So, and then of course there's also my Facebook page, feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. They both should find me. There's a link underneath the video for that as well. And then don't forget to give my videos a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and all that good stuff, so you can see when I come out with new things. And it's just pretty cool. It's awesome. So excited. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I will definitely have more tutorials for you soon.